Welcome back, Major guys. Hope you're all being well. Today we're going to take a look at Microtopia Demo. Found it a little while ago. Wasn't the demo available at the time, but now there is a demo available. I think it's been out for a little while, the demo, but we're getting around to having a little go on it. It's a simulation strategy game from developer Cordyceps Collective, and it's published by Goblinz Publishing. So let's take a dive into it, have a first look at the game, see how it goes, and then I'll cover a few other little aspects of it as well. And I found some really nice niche stuff you can do to get you started with it. Let's dive into it. So within the demo, you get a nice little starting guide that's like, complete, and it'll tell you what to do. So move, camera, rotate, zoom in, zoom out. It took me a little second to work the controls out. Didn't quite know what the controls were. I thought a lot of it was keyboard based, mainly mouse based. I don't know why I thought it was keyboard based, but So this is me first starting it. Not really too sure what each does. This is your tutorial and you are learning. So when you first play, don't expect anything too overly gracious. You're gonna learn the game, understand the game, and then when it comes out fully, you gotta do so much more with the game. We've got our queen down. Queen's laid out, and we get 4 ants. The 4 ants you get to start with are these little guys. These 4 are unlimited energy, so that's most important. Use these 4 ants very wisely for the most important parts. Again, I'll cover it later. As you can see, I'm learning out what to do. I'm like, okay, this doesn't work here. I went away, but then it's because it's blocked. If it goes red, the line's blocked. The ants can't pass through solid stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this a little bit here up, and I'll cover some more aspects. So as you can see, I've just got no idea what any of this stuff does. Like, you're placing it down, it's like, right, okay. But I feel like I was getting a bit too far ahead of myself. But eventually, if you just look at the steps, complete the steps, as soon as it goes complete the step. Read these little screens as well, they're very important. They show you what each bit does and how to do it and what it does. Now, as you can see, I put down the storage unit, and I've put down the little funnel bit the ants can get stuff out of. That's what that is. I'll talk a bit more about that later on. So this is a trail. So once you put the trail down, the ants will then just rotate around the trail. Again, didn't quite know how to use this, didn't fully understand it. It isn't rocket science. It is quite straightforward, but I think at the time when I was doing it, I don't know, I wasn't really thinking logic at the time. So I dove a bit more into it. I spent time with the game in each bit, and then eventually I started learning. And I realised there's so many aspects of this game you can do to make your life so much easier. So again, let's speed up a little bit more, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we've got a full loop now. So this is the loop I did. I wasn't too like I said, I wasn't too sure in how this works. But this is too big, just to give you an idea. So this loop is far too big, it'll take far too long, but it's not overly impossible. You don't have to have it too small. Got the right size, you can make your life a bit easier. And you can basically count the seconds it takes that ant to go around on one loop before you can give it more tasks. So we're going to put the incubator down. This is where you make new ants from the queen ant. feed the queen ant, take out the larvae from the back of the ant, and you put it onto the little plate and it will create new ants. So obviously you need your scrap materials to build things and your irons and that, but we'll talk a bit more about that later on. So I'm just going to go through the rest of this, and then I'm going to skip to a completely whole new one I did, and I'll show you some really cool stuff. Alright, so as you can see, it's not great, it's not perfect, this is my first time playing it. So the white line I've got where the queen ant is around the plants, you probably noticed not feeding them. Wasn't too sure why. That's because I used a hauling line and not a foraging line. So you have to use the foraging line. The foraging line is green. If you use a hauling line just around the queen ant and the plants, the ants won't pick up and you haven't told the ant what to do. Be sure to use the foraging line, which will come up green, and then it will pick the plants and it will feed the ant. Or you can put it into storage. I'll show you about that later on. As you see, I'm doing a few changes here, moving around. I'm realising that a shorter route is better for the scrap. And it took me some doing to really, understand these few patterns and that. Once you understand the patterns and what you can do with this game, nothing is impossible and there's so much you can do to build a very good one. I've come to realise the queen ant doesn't dictate the game, the lines dictate the game in the way you build everything and the way you run your ants from the queen ant. The queen ant will produce more ants will run everything else. And it's very important to understand how to do this. I can see that ants doing nothing, so it's like, okay, what's going on? So this is where I then changed the route because I realised there's a foraging. This is me just playing around with a lot of this. Again, wasn't too sure what that did. This is where the green line comes in now. Foraging, fine. Put the ant onto it. And it will now pick the energy, and then it will give it to the queen. So let's speed this up a little bit. Now we got a little furnace going. We worked out that the little funnel bit is linked to the storage pad, and then ants will take it out, take it to the furnace, put it in the furnace, and then put it onto the storage pad as cubes. There's mixtures of things that will happen. Again, for followers to properly read what it says, really understand the game mechanics. Once you get the game mechanics, you can really start a very, very good run. And I've been finding all different things, and I found a nice little way of doing things that I like personally. So it might give you a few ideas to play with. So I speed this a little bit up, and then I'm going to completely cut to a whole new one I did from a new game, and we'll run through it. Alright, so I showed you my first play, wasn't great. There's a lot to learn and understand. But the tutorial is very good, it is a very good tutorial. You just really got to pay attention to it and not rush through it. Once you have done a few bits of the tutorial, go through it again, play again, find different routes. I'm going to show you a whole new game I did, and I found some really interesting things you can do, and this might help. Alright, so unfortunately the first part of the video from the start didn't quite missed it, but as you can see I'm already pre-set up with my ants doing the scrap. Got my queen ant over here, and I've got 2 workers, so I've only literally just started it. So as you can see, the ants will go around to the first depot, and they'll grab a piece, they'll come back up towards the scrap bit, and they'll drop it off. Go down to the next bit, come back up, drop it off, down to the next bit, pick it up, drop it off. So you can make them backtrack on the previous path line and have it thrown into supply, so you don't have to do a full loop around, drop it in there. So you're always going to be thrown a few bits at a time. Now around here, I literally play around with like the larvae pods, if you like, to make new ants. What I'll do is I'll speed this bit up because there's a lot of me just building stuff and doing whatnot, but I found some interesting ways. So let's just speed this bit up. So I'll be playing around different routes for the best one, whether you have one ant do all the work and then you have 2 ants do 2 pods, so to make sure the pods get evened out and get the right amount of larvae per pod. As I went through the game, you start unlocking different things. 3-way split, different ways you can channel your ants different directions. And I came up with a better idea. It's not perfect, I'm still working with the idea. But for now, this is just one way we're going to work with. So let's go through it a bit more. So obviously I'm still doing the tutorial bits again because it's part of the demo, so all you got is this part of the demo is just a tutorial basically. Gets you up to speed with a lot of it. Now we're on to the foraging part. So we need to start feeding the queen ant. And I thought of this last night. What if we can just pile stuff up? To stockpile stuff, you can stockpile materials, energy, so forth. And by using a stockpiler, you can then use the dispenser. So this is where I'm going to start going around working out different directions. We have a lot of energy we can cover, you know, but if we do all of it, the ants will do one big cycle, drop one little energy in. Didn't quite want that. So I spent time with it and I realised once I get the stockpile in the right location, I can have the ants travel the same way as the scrap, where they go down, pick a bit up, come back, throw it on, go down, pick it up, come back, throw it on, and recycle. This is where I'm going to do this bit here. I'll speed this bit up because it is a bit boring, but you get the gist. So as you can see, I've got like a little triangle with a deposit coming out of it. Feed the queen ant. So it's a very small cycle. And feeding the queen ant is important because the more you feed her, the quicker you feed her, the more you can get your stages up. Now, without energy and without feeding the queen ant, your stages won't go up, you won't be able to unlock more ant workers, you won't be able to do more stuff. And that's important. So you can see I'm cycling them up, so it comes down, goes back up, so the ants can deposit into the storage unit. Obviously, if I do more than this, it gets a bit crazy. You can only have so much of it for making it. But top, a nice little tip, do a little triangle with a deposit and have a storage space just for the energy. That way the ants won't take so long to pick one up, cycle it around to the queen and go around again. I actually found this method quite one of the best methods. Also, it's too tight, so we have to move the storage space slightly. So you got to fiddle around with it a little bit, but you will get it and it will deposit them. And you'll get a nice build up. So as you can see, I had to redo the layout. It's trial and error, but once you get it right, it will work. This layout here actually worked quite nicely. Once I got the ants going with it, they go around, they pick one up, deposit it, go to the other one, pick it up, deposit it, so forth. So I've playing around with a lot of it. It wasn't too bad. So this is what we're going to do, the smelters. I'll speed up the smelter part. It is a little bit boring working it all out, kinks out, but it does help once you get the ideas right. I'm still playing with a lot of the ideas. I'm still trying to work it out. But the lines are very important. But once you get a lot of it unlocked from the beginning, like the three-way split, and you have more tools to play with instead of having to do single bit like this, it makes life so much easier. I actually really thoroughly enjoyed this demo as well. I've played this demo quite a few times, to be fair. It's one of the best runs I had. Remember to pause it when you're doing your lines and stuff, so you work at ants, don't run out materials or whatnot. Using the pause motion to do your lines is very good tip as well. I find it very useful. So there's my 3 little smelters and its storage unit. As the ants come back round, they pick up scrap from the scrap pile over there. We have ants putting it on a little funnel, and they just pick when they want to. Now we send some worker ants in. So pick it up, go to a smelter, smelt it, drop it off, recycle. We send these little guys out to begin with as we're going through to level up until we can get to the right motion. Actually, my little ants going around taking out the little dispenser bit, giving it to the queen ant. The rest of them are just dispensing onto the storage to build up a nice storage space. If you do this with a few different plants, same sort of idea, you can have nice storage spaces. So then all you got to do is place the dispenser. If that one runs out, they can start using the other one. I'll show you a bit more on that later on. So far, as you can see, as we've been building up, we're starting to utilise the little areas we've stretched down to get more resources. A few little plants here, I've done a small little pad for one ant to go around. and pick up the energy bars to drop them off. I had to reroute the middle bit a few times because when it went up the middle line, it wouldn't deposit it. As you can see, it goes around and goes around again. So I had to change the layout to it a little bit, but then I got it to work how I wanted it to. So it's coming together slowly but surely. Got a nice little period line here. So you've got little flowers here and there. I mean, there's a couple down there. Not too bothered about that little energy, but I'll show you what I do with that later on. But all the other flowers further up, you've got loads of them. Start making little deposits and get them start to stack up. The flowers regen energy cells every 60 seconds as well, from what I found out. Let's speed this little bit up a little bit more. So I've got my little workshops going on now. So we've got 2 different workshops, one to make screws and one to make iron plates. And we've got 2 storage units, one to deposit screws and one to deposit iron plates. So as you can see, I'm drawing around my lines. It looks a bit crazy, but this is so the ants don't all stack up to one pod to do one little thing. One machine can only do one item a go, so you can only do screw or iron plates or whatever it was you want to make. So you've got a few of them set out, level them out differently so they go right round. Screws take 1 sort of cube, smelt it down to make, give it to you instantly, whereas iron plates take 4. So you can see we're putting our little dispenser there now, so the ants go round, cycle it in, come back round, drop it off, or just go around, reloop, and get a new pit out and recycle. So it's all about recycling your ants and getting it to go the way you want. You will do this on a bigger, larger scale as well. As you see, I'm drawing the lines. This is our free route, so we're going to use our free router now. So we have one line going that way and one line going the other way. And the arrow, once an ant passes that black arrow, it will then switch it to the route. So that way you get an equal divide, the material is going to equal around to make sure you get the equal amount needed. So going forward, I realised that storage units can hold larvae, and larvae is what the queen ant gives you. Now, instead of having the larvae come straight out and then thrown onto the incubators to get little ants, the little ants don't last as long, and once you go through, you get your bigger producer where 2 little ants go in to make 1 bigger ant for more energy and last longer. You end up just wasting ants, and sometimes I forget about mine, they sit there for ages and they just end up dying. You don't want that. And this is where this comes in. If you, instead of placing it so it gets a larvae up from the queen out, dumps it on, if you want to stack them up, put down a storage space and change acceptance to larvae. So instead of the ant chucking onto the incubator, it will then start putting them onto the storage space. And I found this very, very useful, because that way, if you have enough ants or you don't require any more ants or you need to reconfigure, you've got a nice storage space of ants ready to go then. So make sure you utilise everything possible. Storage space for larvae, 100% definitely do. That way, if one of your workers die, you run out of energy cells, you've got ants to fall back on that you can make more. As you can see, we're getting a nice little storage stack of energy going up there. Greenhouse being fed well. So he goes round, drops them in, recycles. As it goes through, you see a bit more of my shenanigans and ideas that I start realising you could do more and more with. And once you realise the amount you can do is just ridiculous, you can make a very, very good game out of this. I really can't wait for the full release, because this is going to be so good. So we've got our little stockpile of larvae, and we've got a dispenser for larvae. I'm like, how can we do this? So this is where I'm now going to play around with rerouting everything. The lines, get rid of the lines, and I'm going to reroute it all, and I'm going to make it work for me. It took me a little while to work it out. It's not perfect. It was more of a test phase. But now I really know what I'm going to do with it. I've already got a pre-plan emptied for it. So I'll speed this a little bit here up because it's going to be a little bit boring. And then I'll cover it all again. So as you can see, we've got our 4 pads, we've got a dispenser for the larvae, and we've got the route for it. So hopefully I was trying to make it work like the material one, where it goes down, picks it up, comes back, drops it off, and reloop. Unfortunately, with the 4 pads, you can only have up to 3 drop off from pickup. So when it goes back up, it should pick 1 up and drop 1 off. But it will only do it for 3. So if you try and do it for 4, it won't fully work. So that idea, as you saw on the incubator pads, did not work. Got my little ant cycle around the larvae, picks 1 up, drops it off, and it would just keep looping like that. He would just keep doing that forever. So I had to find a better way of doing this. It took me a little while to do it, little figure out. I've got something to work ideally. Like I said before, I am still working out the kinks to it. And you can do it better. There's many ways you can do this. So, you know, but I'm literally playing with so many different ideas to do this. You can see he's dropping his little storage in there. Got a nice little stack of energy coming in. This is where I take him out for a little test run to make sure it all works properly. This is where I found out you can only have 3 pickups. Unfortunately, he passed away before we could actually do anything. There he goes, picks 1 up, drops it off. Should go back up, pick 1 up and drop it off. Unfortunately, he doesn't on pad 2. Pad 3 and 4 he does though. Couldn't work out why, but I realised you can only have so many pickups. If the lines are too close together, it will overwrite the first one and jump to the second one, an arrow line. So it will always miss pad 2. So only pad 1, 3 and 4 was it get activated. So we're going to reloop it, change it and make it better. Alright, so this is where I changed the loop because I realised he wasn't cycling around, so we had to work it out. But obviously we need the flowers to regen to see if it's going to throw it in there. Still got the same design down by the pads. These 2 flowers here though, I realised and I thought, I wonder if you could add foraging line in with a hauling line and if it would still work or not. Or if it had to be a complete line. So this is where we test it. I put down my little storage unit. Make it just for energy for them 2 little plants there. I'm giving the ants more to do, but you're going to get more out of it. Now, I didn't quite know if you added a different line in with the line, if they would still work the same, or if it had to be a complete circuit line. Wasn't too sure, so I thought we'll give it a go. So this is where I make a nice little line. We go to foraging, hit the foraging line to the little plants, up to storage unit, and then recycle it back. I thought, yeah, let's try it. It's got to work. They do the little thing, they come around, and they should pick up the plants, throw it into storage trays, and recycle. And what do you know? It worked. So utilise everything you can. If you've got a few plants around, but it's mainly for that workshop, just put in a foraging line for the ants to go around the trail, like I have done. And that way, you can, even though it's only 2 plants, it takes 6 seconds to respawn energy, you're going to start building up a nice little pad area for more energy as a backup later on. So yeah, it took a little while to store up, but it gave them something to do, and it's going to give you a bit more resources to do. So let's fast forward a bit more. Alright, back to the crazy lines. So this is where I come up with the crazy scheme of using the arrow. So the arrow line would dictate what one gets what and where the ant goes. Now, this isn't perfect. It was just an idea I played with. But it did work. I found if I had more than one ant on this sort of idea, it didn't work as well. It's not perfect. I can make it a little more better. But again, it was just testing theory. The theory is the ant picks one up, goes to the line, it sends it to the pad, it re-loops back round, comes to the arrow and goes the other direction. It worked very well, as I said. If I had two ants on it, it went a bit crazy. They would end up carrying a bit of larvae for a little while because there wasn't enough chance for that incubator to finish producing an ant off before it would get another one, and then it just made life crazy. Having 2 or 3 ants on energy to feed the queen, more than ideal. No more than 3 ants feeding the queen on a small triangle there. Gets a bit too crazy. 1 ant on the conveyor belt, on the incubator line, and it works great. So there's many ways you can do this. You can just do a square, picks one up, goes around, throws it in, loops around. Play around with the game though. Make it your game. There's so many ideas you can do for this. You know, you don't have to do what the ideal way is to do it, like foraging, loops around, feeds the queen, and then loops around. Takes too long. Use the storage space to stack it up. Work ideas. This is why I play around with the little spacey bit, because obviously I had 2 dispensers and I was trying to get them to pick it up, throw it into the ant, pick it up. I was trying to use one double up, but it didn't quite work out very well. This is probably one of the longest videos I've done. I don't usually do very long videos like this, but do it in a 2-part. I just thought it might have been a bit crazy, so I wanted to put it all into one video. If you've been following it so far, thank you very much for following along with this video and watching it. Hope you're enjoying it so far, and it's giving you ideas to play with. So this is my current setup, as you can see. Got nice little lines going to it now. We've got our little double ant combiners setting up. Once the larvae goes around, it goes into the 2 pods. It will go inside the machine, create one bigger ant, and the 2 little ones. We get a nice proper workaround with more energy, more distance to travel. We don't have to worry about them so much. So it goes round, throws these little larvae in, goes back up, grabs another larvae, goes the other direction. I did notice that I'm going from 1 to 4 and then to 3 to 2. So I did do the lines wrongly. Whatever way, if you use the 3-way system, whatever line you place down first is the first line the arrow will go to. Second line is the way the arrow rotates that line, and in the 3rd line it will rotate to that one. So if you do 1 to sort of the left and the right, and then 1 behind and 1 in forward, it will switch between left, right, back, forward as such. So let's speed this a little bit up. So you see I've been changing the layout quite a bit as well. Don't be afraid to change your layout. Just pause it, change the layout. If you're not happy with it, revert it. You'll find better ways of doing this. I had to stretch out a little bit because I realised the ants weren't really going in the machine properly. The few little flowers down there, I made another storage space. Did the same thing again. Get more energy. So one ant could just stack up on that. All I need is one ant. Played around with it a little bit. But yeah, once you find the little kinks here and there, you'll be absolutely fine. Get as much resources as you can. Energy is a big one, so you utilise all energy plants you can and put them into storage spaces and use dispensers for the other ants to feed queen ant or anything else you need. This is where I start building to make the inventor ant. The inventor ant's quite important to have because he will help dictate your tech for later on in the game. Now it's only demo mode, so you get as far as a radar tower and that's pretty much it, but yeah, let's speed it up. So it's all coming together nice and slowly but surely. You know, this is not perfect, but this is just trial and error. I can see my little bit down the bottom left hand side for the scrap metal as all being used up. So I'm going to move that over to the next part of scrap metal and we'll dictate that one. But it's coming together. It's looking good so far. I'm happy with it so far. Still learning from these and how to make this better. You can do this any direction you want. But just utilise as much space. Plan ahead if you can't. If not, just play with it. You know, cut roads, well the lines anywhere you want. But make sure everything's connected so no ant is stopping coming off the belt. So let's speed this a little bit more up. And see where we're going from there. So if you can see, I've got another energy storage unit going on now. Change the route slightly, so the ant goes down that route there. One will go to one energy, and then the next one will go the other direction, just to make sure they're always filled up. I've been looking up with a better idea. You know, we don't have to have them all going the same way. You know, this is where I do the inventor ants. So just for now, I use one inventor pad, and then every time an inventor came out, once it filled up with 10 energy, you pop it, and then everyone goes up there. Because once you've had 10 energy and you've popped it, the inventor ant will die. So you need a new one ready to go up. This is going to change the course slightly, and make it a bit more better. So effectively, I will do a line for one machine to go to the 3 routes and inventor side, and same with the other one, inventor side, and down to the 2 foraging areas. Obviously, you don't have to have 4 larvae pads. You can have a lot more larvae pads as well. So the more larvae pads you got, the better it will be. And you produce more ants quicker, so then they will go into machines, come out. So you can have 4 of these machines if you like, and then go on with it. I know with the proper game, there'll be so much more you can do. So I've already got a few ideas. That machine, once big ant comes out, it will go down to the foraging. The other one will go towards the other machine, and to make sure we're getting an even split on the inventor ants, I put an arrow to swap from left to right side to make sure one ant goes in each side, and it's always got ants ready to go. Invert, there's 2 waiting. As I said, the first line you put down is the way that it rotates, so we'll go from inventor ant line to the workshop and to the scrap, and then to the smelting art area. There's a little inventing pad. Obviously watch where the arrows go. Arrows are important to know. Alright, speed up a little bit more. As you can see, we're on stage 5. So the way we feed the queen out, we've got 2 ants just cycling around, picking up energy, feeding the queen ant, and then our other ant just stacking larvae. There's a little inventor ant down there being filled up. He's almost ready to pop. We've got another one coming up behind him, ready to go. There we go, 10 in, take that, pop him. And he dies, next event ramp will go up onto the platform, ready to be fed energy. Alright, so the next thing that's up is the radar tower. That's your tech overlay, but you can't build radar tower at the moment, just in the demo. The now game it will open up so much more you can do. We're going to build it up. It'll take me a little while to build it, to have enough materials, but I'll speed a lot of this up. So you can see how my base, a lot of my builders come together, my base. But I'm happy with it so far, you know. It will be a lot better than this, I'm sure of it. Radar tower's at 93%, similarly there with that one. Got a little larvae stacking up and being used. I love that idea of using the larvae on stock, not like a storage base. Same way I think use the storage bases very well. They do come in handy. So there's a lot more I wanted to do, but unfortunately, I got to the end of it, made contact, and that was the end of the demo. You can still play on afterwards, but I'm going to try something different. So we've reached stage 6. As you can see, I changed a lot of my layout. I did a lot of it. Radar towers almost built, so we can make that contact bit. Overall, I had fun doing this and playing it. I learned a lot from this and my own designs. And I learned how to make it better. There's so much efficient ways you can do this. So I'll probably do another run through another demo and go again with it. Again, if you guys have watched most of this video or skip through it, that's absolutely fine. But I appreciate you stopping in, having a look through it as well. I hope it's giving you guys some inspiration or some ideas of what to do with yours. I mean, the full game, like I said before, I can't wait 'cause there's so much more you can do. Build bigger, better. You know, for the demo, it's not a bad demo actually. It's really enjoyable to play. Definitely gives you a sight into it. I learned the basics really. Start working your own ideas, getting it up. There's a few things I'm going to change in general, and the rest I'll incorporate in, so not too bad. Every time the ant dies off, I've got to keep switching off, so I just drag one off the line and put him to where it needs to be. So just before that one kills off, there's always one ready to go. Always remember to check on your ants now and again because they're not infinity energy. So once they top, sure you got another one to go, or got one ready to go over there. Tech tree, leveling it up, can't do much with it at current, but the more you pop of your events rants, the more tech tree points you'll get for within the game. So on real game, you'll level up and then you'll spend them points to unlock the next feature from the tech tree. So that's quite nice. I had a lot of fun doing this, playing it. Change the look. See what I mean? I'm always changing my design slightly. Yeah, I'm finding better and improved ways. But like I said, don't be scared to change your layout. Just pause it, change the layout. Even if you wipe all your lanes and go again, you know, you'll be absolutely fine. You know, don't be scared to change your layout. Never be scared of it. And if you do delete a building or need to get rid of it, or your storage stuff you used to build it will go back to your storage. Look at them flying out. We made contact. We get there. It's a lovely little screen. It's a really top tier game. I'm really impressed with it so far. Very well done. I didn't encounter no bugs or problems within the demo mode itself, so that's another feature. Another nice little thing there. But this has a lot of interesting things for the game. Tech tree is really interesting as well. And I am looking forward to it. I will leave a link in the description for the demo if you've not played it yet. Highly recommend playing the demo. If you like your simulation strategy games, this will be one for you. And it's very well nice made. That's the end of the demo. You click OK, you can just continue with what you got. Just keep recycling, but you can't progress much else. But play around with it. Thanks again for stopping by and watching this video. Appreciate all of you. Be sure to give the video a like. Don't like it, dislike it. Any questions or comments, leave down below. And be sure to subscribe for more videos coming out. And when this game's on full release, I will definitely be covering a lot of it. Until next time, take it easy.